Survive and Kill the Killers in Area 51 is a classic game that I'm sure most Roblox players have touched at some point in time. And since its creation, there has been subtle hints of lore, mainly through new game modes and most importantly, the notes that are hidden around the area. And as more and more updates have rolled out, we players have been given more and more parts of the larger puzzle. And today, I think we have enough information to fully talk about the story of SAKTK. This theory will try and explain why the killers are there and what the military is doing there. They also kind of give events in chronological order, leading to how the area became the way that it is now. So without further ado, let's jump into the lore. But before we begin, just a quick reminder to like and subscribe. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, and making the funny number go up is funny, hence the name. So please do so if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my content. Also, happy Halloween. In case you didn't notice, this is my sorry excuse for a Halloween special. Anyways, let's jump into SAKTK. So in preparation for this video, I went into the game, found all 13 papers, as well as got every single killer case file to read them. Only to realize that there's a wiki, and the wiki has all the notes and all the case files on it, as well as an entire section dedicated to the lore. At first, this revelation almost discouraged me from making this video altogether, but looking more closely, it's clear that these things on the wiki are just theories in of themselves, and nothing really has been confirmed on that page, so I'll just be throwing my hat into the ring and craft my own theories based on the factual information that we know is true. If I end up being wrong, then I end up being wrong. It's not a big deal. The first question I want to answer is, why are the killers in the area? Thankfully, this seems to be obvious. Based on the existence of the case files, we know that the military has been capturing the killers and taking them to Area 51 for containment and study. It kind of makes sense considering that most of the killers are contained in enclosed rooms. Thanks to the notes, we can get a rough timeline of when they started doing this, since the earliest notes date back to sometime in September of 1945, right after World War II would have ended, meaning that this is likely when they started bringing killers in. Right away, they also appear to have caught an alien, as stated in some notes. According to some other notes, they started to grow the creature for an unconfirmed reason. However, we will come back to this factoid later. Let's jump into a different topic, the radioactive zone, which is primarily known for its zombies and the nuclear bomb that lies here. Now, since the area appears to have been created during or slightly after World War II, it doesn't seem like much of a stretch to assume that nuclear bombs were stored here in preparation to be transferred to other places. Now, it seems based on the papers scattered here, as well as the dugout caverns around the nuke, that the Area 51 personnel started conducting experiments on the damaged nuclear bomb, leading to the creation of the zombies on accident, which are said to be former Area 51 workers. The giant zombie is also here, but I don't think he really serves much of a purpose. I mean, maybe the mutation made one of the zombies big. I mean, we don't really know. Now, there was clearly an attempt to seal this area off and never bother with it again, as indicated by the broken wall leading to the radioactive zone. However, it's clear that the Area 51 personnel weren't done with experiments with radioactive stuff just yet. The next part of our story leads us to the sewer region, which is covered in radiation. We can assume that the Area 51 personnel realized the potential of growing things with the radioactive material, so they started feeding it this to grow the alien monster, hence why it spits this acid. We can also assume that the radiation goes into the Kraken chamber, which explains how all that radioactive stuff got to him and how it mutated him. The wiki suggests that the stuff that they were using to grow the alien was hate and rage, which we'll talk about in a bit. But considering the alien is the first thing they ever caught at Area 51, and the fact that hate and rage weren't discovered until they discovered RZ, which is something that they probably discovered from the alien, it doesn't make sense that he would have been fed hate and rage. Another interesting factoid about the alien is that he was brainwashed by the United States government into fighting the Russians during the Cold War. However, this thing fell through when the Russians brainwashed him right back. This isn't important right now, but we'll come back to this. Anyways, from pumping the radioactive stuff in the sewers to feed their alien, they somehow stumbled upon the chemical RZ. The game calls it an alien substance, so it's almost certainly related to the alien in some way, shape, or form. Using RZ in the experimentation room, they were able to create the substances hate and rage, respectively. Hate, the black substance, has the power to bring things to life, while rage, the red substance, appears to give things a purpose or free will. A scientist accidentally came into contact with an unstable form of hate and rage in the laboratory and became the boss monster Aberration, who, according to the notes, was also later locked away for study and experimentation. Jeez, these Area 51 people need to stop screwing around with stuff they don't understand. So hate and rage weren't really working on their own, and the area still has these unruly killers wandering around that are starting to really pile up by this point. We can assume that the researchers attempted to put rage into the robots there, like the robot in Tailsdoll, as part of their security robot initiative, which later turned into a strange plot for the robots taking over the world. But it seems that the robots escaped captivity and the entire initiative fell through when the robotics facility was reduced to rubble. Now at this point, I think the Area 51 personnel realized that they were hot on the money with hate and rage, but since it was so unstable and they just had 3 complete disasters because of it, they needed to start purifying it. Now, this is where some wild speculation comes in, and where I'm likely going to need to put up my super armor barriers because I can smell the hate comments coming. But what if they did find a way to dull the effects of hate and rage by mixing it with the radioactive water in the sewers? Think about it. In the sewers, there's this unnamed purple substance that is only known as Output 2. The wiki suggests it could be a type of plutonium, but this stuff doesn't kill you when you step on it, which plutonium is known to do if you're even close to it, and it just doesn't really make sense that they're pouring plutonium in a food room, which is one of the 2 locations where this purple stuff can be found. We know based on the cleaning pump diagrams and notes that the green stuff is no longer harmful per se, and could probably be used to purify hate and rage, perhaps to condense it into one substance for the area to mass produce. Hence why it's flowing in the food room, which I really think is meant to be food for the killers and experiments, considering that the main personnel already have a kitchen, is definitely used to prepare human food. It would also explain why Cleaning Pump 2 was moved to a very secure location and why no one knows about it, barring a few people who know the lever code. It's also completely covered in the purple stuff, which doesn't really make sense as to why they would need to have it. Once again, the wiki suggests that they're using the plutonium to power Area 51, but the area seems to run on power just fine, even with the pumps turned off. But what? I asked myself. What would the Area 51 people need to do with Output 2? Well, I think this is the substance that they are giving the killers. The purple stuff, or Output 2, is this purified form of hate and rage mixed with the sewer water. It's why the killers don't attack the staff or the military, but will attack the intruders. The Area 51 personnel have captured and forced these creatures to consume a radioactive alien substance that allows them to keep them as obedient superweapons. And I mean, it kind of makes sense why they do this, considering, again, according to the alien case file, the alien was brainwashed by the Russians to turn against the US and its agents, and the military probably doesn't want their other superweapons being used against them again. With all this in mind, it kind of makes the military in SAKTK really sinister. They send down these random civilians into Area 51 to contend with the mess that they greenlit so many years ago. And there you have it, friends, the full and complete lore of Survive and Kill the Killers in Area 51. Now, I do recognize the flaws in this theory, especially considering the fact that much of what I've said goes against what others have been theorizing for years now. If any of you have theories of your own, leave them in the comments. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, as it helps out a lot, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.